What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to GmiasWorld, and just as we spoke about before, we're going to be adjusting some abilities right now to kind of make my scheme a little bit more unstoppable, but it's going to be taking a couple risks. All right, so look, this is what it's about. We all know that Route Tech is supposed to be one of those better abilities. I was using it a little bit more often because what happens is if you don't have like route abilities on these players, they are not going to react in the new man-to-man coverage. In fact, most corners that you play against that only have Acrobat is going to be all over you and still be manning you up after you log off. So because of that, we have to create an environment where dudes want to react, which is going to require a little bit more AP, but we can still play around with it. Now, there are people that, left comments about, the short out elite. And I told you guys about 2 months ago, if you guys go back, I told you guys about that the skinny post and stuff like that, it gets wide open on. The issue with that is if you have a deep route, right, you're going to still need the deep out, but it'll kind of take away from the fact that we're using route tech and we don't need it if we can go and get 2 less for each thing. So let me show you what I'm talking about. We no longer need the tight end apprentice on Uncle Vern, okay? And the reason for that is because we're going to be able to take away a little bit more from what's going on with the AP that we're using on the outside receivers, all right? Now, our offensive playbook and defensive playbook, just so some of you guys asked, right now we're using the Seahawks offensively and the Dolphins. Now, my offense is exactly the same that I'm running right now that I was running in Madden 20. A lot of iPro, a lot of mossing, and a lot of not giving a F about anything. All right? So let's continue to go through with it. Brett Favre, even though we only took 2 from that, we're going to add Hot Route Master to Brett Favre. Now, it goes for 3 on him, but it's fine. We're not worried about it because it is what it is. All right? We're going to spend the 3. It's going to be 5 for our quarterback. All right? Just stay with me. Now, remember, this may change. If they give us an Aaron Rodgers golden ticket, Brett Favre is gone. The only 2 quarterbacks that I want to use for the remainder of the year are Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers. They are the best quarterbacks in the game. Enough is enough. So you see that we're over by 1, right? So here goes the real glitch that we're going to run right now. We're going to take away the ability of route tech and go with the short out, right? Now look, hear me out with the way that this is going to work. When I showed it to you guys before, I didn't do it in this fashion. I did it in a rather ridiculous fashion where I just pretty much had, short out, and I think I took away the deep out. But this time we're going to keep the deep out. So if we run a deep post, we still get that cut. But anything underneath that, we're going to force EA Sports to let our player do something. And what that does is it's going to allow the player to cut. So the short out, because we're going to be doing it from the outside. If you go and look at Tyreek Hill and you go to practice mode, this is where I discovered it like 2 months ago. No matter what route he's on, if it's like a deep cross or whatever it is, he lights up from the beginning of the route, right? But what we're going to do in MUT is we're going to still keep that deep out because we still want to be able to moss. And then we're going to still save AP. You see, that's how it's going to work right now. And you guys probably want to get used to doing stuff like this because this is only going to help you when Madden 22 drops. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think that they're going to get away from abilities because I just can't figure out another way that they're going to make money. Unless they create something else and a whole new other currency, I don't really see how they're going to do it. I honestly do not. So I have to be of the mindset that abilities are here to stay and they're going to continue to dominate our lives on a day-to-day basis. What I can tell you, though, is for those of you guys that watched the most recent stream, I'm going to be dropping some videos with Brett Favre because some of you guys are still saying, I don't know about Brett Favre. If you don't go Brett Favre, you got to go Aaron Rodgers in this game. And you will be able to do whatever you want. I promise you that. Whatever you want, you will be able to do it. And that's just pretty much what it is. All right. Now, the whole objective of this is we're going to be taking away the mid out, right? Because mid out is still going to be, mid out is going to still be, I believe, 2, right? So we're choosing short out as opposed to mid out because short out lights up. Even like if they press you or do anything ridiculous, this absolutely still works, right? The only thing that I'm doing different, like I said, is I'm leaving deep out on so that we can still moss and also deep post still work. But look now, because we have the Hot Route Master, we can create the skinny post that we know it gets open. Pretty much it just gets open because it's in that short route like stratosphere where they have to let it go and do what it's supposed to do. If you run the stock post routes in most formations, that is a mid route. so it won't necessarily light up. And that's what a lot of people were getting confused about when I was trying to explain it to you guys before. Some of you guys got it, some of you didn't. That was a major aspect of what was going on. So now look, voila, we get rid of the route tech, right? And we know that based on the routes that we run, we're gonna still get open. Now, what's the next move? We got 3 AP to use. Some of you guys are like, yo, Gmia, what's up with escape artists? Escape artist is cool if you run bunch, you run trips tight end religiously, and you want to run around like an idiot and just do whatever. That's fine. We did that. We didn't like it. It is what it is. Because what EA Sports did was they increased the delay that you have to wait to activate escape artists. So you don't have free reign to go side to side like if you don't have escape artists. I'll rather move at a calm pace, and I'll roll out when I have time or whatever, and that's it. I don't feel that escape artist is necessary, especially for the way that I run my offense. Now, what else does that do for us? Now that we have 3 AP that we can use, we can go back to something that we loved here at GmiasWorld, identifier. Because I do believe that I play a lot better with identifier, even though I don't think I've lost a game, because you can kind of figure out where the guy is, but knowing exactly and not guessing, it makes it easier for you to hike the ball and just throw that streak against a cover 2 when he doesn't get to move the safety over. You can seam him on a cover 3 when he doesn't get to move the safety over. It's stuff like that that you can see and you kind of understand with the game as it goes along, and it kind of frees up the idea of like, all right, let me try to use more brain power. You don't need to use it. Don't waste your brain power on Madden. It's just a waste of time. Don't just leave it where it is. Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting because Uncle Vern only has deep in. Now, we can do other things with Uncle Vern. Uncle Vern gets wide open on a lot of different things. But hear me out right now. If we went and said, you know what? We could look, because I think he gets mid in for 1 also. Yeah, he gets mid. I don't know what the shorts are. Yeah, the shorts are going to be 2, obviously, because, yeah, they want to cheat us. When you hot route him to a crosser, he lights up no matter what because the deep crosser is it's a deep route. But on other routes, it may benefit you, but I would not waste 2 AP on it because the outside guys are going to give you enough. You don't have to go that crazy. Matchup Nightmare, this is something that's very, very appealing because he's going to moss even more, and it's going to be more ridiculous. Just because of the simple fact that, if it's a linebacker on him, or even if they're running a sub linebacker, for those of you guys that know about this, Matchup Nightmare, you can throw it right at your opponent's face, and you're gonna always moss them. Sometimes you may get a knockout here or there, but usually you're gonna moss them uncontrollably. This is where it can also help you. If you're gonna run like what I'm running right now, iPro, stuff like that, your players are gonna get tired. What is your backup doing? Now, the possession receivers, I don't like the abilities that they get for the price because it's still Matchup Nightmare is still that. The deep in, deep out is still that. But what he does do is I believe he gets the short, he gets the short out and the short in. Now, you might say to me, like, what does that benefit us? Like, what are we doing with that? This is how it benefits us. If we, for whatever reason, want to run, any type of play where, let's say, for instance, that we're running trips tight end. Let's say our opponent makes us run trips tight end, and we use George Kittle in that regard on a crosser. He's going to run that crosser like nobody's business because the base of the route starts at the beginning with the crosser. He's just going to start running crazy. Like it's wild. And also what happens is this, right? You remove the need for having to use Andre Johnson with the 3 wide receiver sets. Now, one of the things that may cause an issue is that you're going to now have 2 tight ends and 2 wide receivers for my doubles, because usually I run doubles, right? So I can't move around like with the way like I want to like put my players in certain positions for certain formations because I have a tight end in the doubles, and it just goes and obviously reverts to the formation that you put the personnel in. That's new for this year. That's a question that I know some of you guys are going to be asking. I could utilize George Kittle in that regard. I could. That's something that's a possibility. I could definitely do that. The problem is, right, if I'm not going to be regularly using George Kittle, I don't feel comfortable having an ability on him, right? So because I'm going to primarily stay in iPro or under some of the things where I'm using, 2 wide receivers and sometimes 2 tight ends, maybe if I go to strong slot, yes, I could do that. I don't really know where else we can go with the the ability points other than to give the O-lineman abilities. But what's happened over the last couple days, the O-line abilities, they're not necessary. your players just play savagely regardless. So whatever tuning updates EA has been doing, it's definitely affecting what's going on. It absolutely is. So you guys can figure that stuff out if you want to. Now, if you want to make your players really, really OP, hear me out with this. Instead of using Matchup Nightmare on Uncle Vern, because to be honest with you, Uncle Vern's going to moss no matter what with that deep in, you could go over to your outside receivers again, and you can either try red zone threat, or you can go with there's one other ability that they had. You could, like I said, I don't believe that the red zone threat works, but some of you guys have been swearing by it. But like I said, a lot of you guys just do whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. Matchup Nightmare is an absolute joke, by the way, with that situation. You could add deep in on the cards also. Now, does deep in actually help them to, to moss and all that other stuff? Yeah, but we're keeping them on the outside. So for the most part, we're not really, working with that regard. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not working in that situation. But what could happen if you start running a lot of, different type of post routes and stuff like that, and they're crossing the field? It may help you to make sure that they catch the ball if you throw it in the middle of the field. That's the only thing that I could really suggest. Like stacking the players up to a certain point to where they have all the abilities that it may light up in different regards. So over matchup Nightmare, you're gonna notice that the players catch the ball a lot more. I'm not denying that. For those of you guys that are wondering what's going on, if you put Matchup Nightmare on your tight end and throw it to the seam, like 90% of the time, you're gonna moss whoever's there. If it's a sub linebacker or whatever, they're getting mossed. But is that absolutely necessary when you can make the other players better? This will be something that we have to experiment with. Because like I said, I don't really believe, if you're asking me, like if you were to ask me right now, that deep in is gonna really help your outside guys. I just don't believe it. So if you wanna make Uncle Vern as OP as possible, you could definitely, I would just do it like this just to try it. So we're gonna try it again to see what's going on, but I already know it works, but is it gonna work for you? Is it gonna make it so that you're more comfortable? Because remember, the better route running, that adds to his route running already. And then what happens is, he's gonna be even more wide open. So I think we have to sacrifice the fact that our slot receiver in doubles may not get as open, but in all the other formations, Uncle Vern's gonna be doing whatever he wants. So it's like a give and take. But again, this is a lab situation. So I'm gonna have to go out there and see what's good and let you guys know what's up. But this is my new situation. This is what I'm doing. I showed you guys my playbook. I think that this will continue to make our scheme completely OP, and we'll keep our win streak alive. Let me know if you have any other additional questions or comments, and I'll get at you. I'm gonna see you guys and girls next time. One love, y'all.